Yes, it's time for another year of South Georgia high school football. I'm Andrew Schnitker, and welcome back to the Blitz. The regular season kicks off next week, but we're bringing you football coverage from scrimmage to finish. And there's no better place to start the year than with the Colquitt County Packers. This would be our Jeannie K. Tupper game of the week as the Packers are tuning up with Norcross High. Colquitt County has appeared in the last 3 straight semifinal games. Well, they won a trophy this year. Now in the first quarter scoreless game, Packers on defense for just a few more seconds, fumble the handoff. Colquitt's Brandon Key recovers that one. Now first and goal, Colquitt using the play action. Senior Cole Seagroves hitting Bobby Hill for the touchdown. I have a feeling that's going to be happening throughout the year. But Norcross has their chance to respond. Here's Corey Bell, the running back, taking the handoff inside, and he's going to make quite a statement here. Juking inside and back. That hole opening up, he's going to run a long way for this one. 85 yards for the touchdown, so we're all tied up at 7. Packers ball trying to get back on the wagon. Backup QB Daniel Mobley in the game. He hits Tadarian Boyd for the big gain up the middle down the right side. That would set up a 20-yard field goal by Roberto Vega. Colquitt County takes the lead at 10-7, but in the end, the Packers fall tonight. Final score 33-31. Well, there's a lot of attention on Tift County this season. New Blue Devils head coach John Reed brings some past success from East Paulding. The Tift County campaign begins with a scrimmage tonight against Monroe. Monroe and their 16 stars are primed for a strong season. The Tornadoes even putting state title possibilities on the table. Tonight, we're going to start with Brody Field in the second quarter. No score. Scary moment here for quarterback Ryan Wedgeworth. Rolls out, searching for a Blue Devil, hits the brick hard. Appears to be okay there. Now, later in the drive, Wedgeworth dropping back, looking for Gerald Pledger. Ernest Davis jumps up a little bit higher from there. The interception at the goal line saves the Tornadoes a touchdown. Now Monroe driving, junior quarterback Charles Stafford. He's going to have himself quite a year. Slides a quick hitter across the middle, and number 16 able to shed some tackles. That's some after the yardage catch. The Tornadoes pick up 20 yards on that play. And then next Stafford, he's looking for Devon Tavis Campbell. This one's going to go for a touchdown. You see that one down the left side. That's the final score as well. That's the only score of the game. 7-0. The Monroe Tornadoes win it. The game called in 1 half of play. The weather doing damage at Brody Field as well. Well, here's some more damage at Hugh Mills Stadium. It was supposed to be a former AA matchup between Albany High and Brooks County, but lightning ruining those plans, and this game has been postponed until Saturday. According to that rule book, if lightning is spotted, officials must wait 30 lightning-free minutes before starting up again. That didn't happen tonight. These teams are trying to pick it up tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We'll make that final decision Saturday afternoon at 1:30. Fitzgerald coach Jason Strickland is picking up where the former coach Robbie Pruitt left off. With a similar rushing attack, the Purple Hurricanes want similar results in what's been a decade of success. Fitzgerald scrimmaging Emmanuel County Institute at JC Stadium, and the Swamp City defense clicking early on. First quarter, no score. Fitzgerald would score twice in that first quarter to win the first round 13-0. They lose the second quarter 7-0. So Fitzgerald moving on to their first game August 31st. And coming up right after the break, we're going to look into the Westwood Wildcats. What's it take to get 3 straight titles? They're looking to accomplish that feat this year. Plus Worth County and Mitchell County building off past postseason appearances. Talking about those games next on the Blitz. Hey, welcome back. An argument could be made the Westwood Wildcats are currently the most successful team in South Georgia. The GISA school has been undefeated 2 straight seasons. The result, 2 straight state titles. Now the hard part, Westwood is gunning at a 3-peat. The Westwood Wildcats are going for something special in 2012. Going back-to-back for 2 straight GISA state titles was nice. A third one, a realistic goal.
Back-to-back's special, and it's something they can always look back on, but, you know, doing it 3 times in a row is more special. You know, they're a very elite group that's ever done that.
Gone are the senior leaders Mason Worsham and Caleb Morrell. For this season, a new crop of leaders have developed, entering with an unproven attitude.
They did what they need to do, and we're just going to have to do what we need to do to win again and have that same leadership.
Human nature is once you've had some success, it's easy to let up a little bit and be a little satisfied, but I don't see that in these guys.
And reclassified from single A to double A, the hike won't be easy. But it's a challenge the Wildcats are willing to accept.
It's going to be a little tougher from week to week, but, you know, when you've got the program where we hope we've got it and feel like we've got it, you look forward to those challenges.
It was tough last year for us to get undefeated again in single A, but I mean, there's competition and everything. We got a bunch of good teams that we're going to have to face, and it's going to be a good season.
So Westwood is competing for a third state championship. Their fellow Mitchell County schools competing with new head coaches. We're going to start in the first quarter of this one with Mitchell County against Baconton. Eagles up big 13-0 early on. Struggle on the exchange there causes a fumble, but that was the only damage done by the wing T offense for the Mitchell County Eagles. They get it going later on here. This is Anfrey Williams taking the handoff for a good 20-yard run to the left, and that sets up Troy Chester. He's going to get in for the end zone. That's from 7 yards out, and Mitchell County scores 19 points before the lightning hits Camilla. It was just wiping down South Georgia. The Eagles still working through the kinks, but a solid start for their new wing T offense.
I love the aggression right now. We're really firing off the ball. We're still making mistakes. We dropped a few passes out there. We fumbled a snap, but overall, the first couple plays of the game, we're looking where we need to be. We obviously have to improve upon that each play in each game.
Both teams have 2 weeks of preparation before game one of the season. Mitchell County hosts Clinch County on the 31st, while Baconton Charter faces Pelham. Well, the Worth County Rams hosted Harris County in their scrimmage, but yes, you guessed it. Lightning called this show early as well. No score tonight and only 2 offensive sets. The Rams open the season next week, starting earlier than most GHSA teams. They will host Swainsboro over at Mitt Miller Field. Well, coming up, how can the Doherty High Trojans return to football prominence? New head coach Corey Joyner believes he has the answers, and Doherty County Schools Athletic Director Johnny Seabrooks discusses a summer of change in high school athletics. That's all next on The Blitz. And welcome back. Doherty High School hired longtime assistant Corey Joyner to take over the Trojans football program. The hiring in the month of May didn't leave Joyner a long time to put his group in place. However, this head coach isn't thinking about excuses. Hired in May, Doherty head football coach Corey Joyner is rebuilding the Trojans snap by snap. But it's all starting with the mental game.
Football is an analytical and critical thinking sport. And in order for that to happen, you got to exercise your brain in the classroom.
After 5 years as a Trojan assistant, the new head coach is putting his stamp on the program in a timely fashion.
Hey, it's too slow, man. It's too slow. It's about intelligence is number one, and tempo is the second thing. And that's what we've been preaching to them all the time, that we're going to have a great tempo and we're going to have intelligence about the game.
Joyner is placing his knowledge and tempo into the hands of inexperience. A lot of freshmen and sophomores will be running the show, and sophomore quarterback Mike Watley has already bought in.
I say he's more like a mentor, like someone you can look up to. He's a good person. He leads you as if you lead yourself.
The attention to detail, the enthusiasm for the game. Joyner believes hard work will turn this Trojan program around back to the state title days of 2005.
And that's the thing that I've always brought to the table, even when I was coaching just defense. You don't have any choice. Either you're going to work or you don't play. Or you're going to do it in the school or you don't play.
And fittingly joining me on the Blitz is Doherty County Athletic Director Johnny Seabrooks. Coach Seabrooks, thanks for spending some time out of your day to come talk some football with us.
Well, thanks for having me, Andrew.
Well, we're going to open up with the Doherty Trojans. The new coach on the scene, Corey Joyner, hired in May. So it was a deliberate process. I feel like that's the best way to say it. Did it all work out according to the school system's plan to get him in place that late in the year, I guess?
No, we was hoping to have somebody in place early. One of the things that when the previous coach left was late January, and we was hoping to have somebody in place by spring practice. With the new process and procedures that the school system has in place now for hiring and interviewing, we was not able to get Corey in place for the spring practice. So that hurt a little bit. The kids, the athletes from that point, they had really no sound directions because there was no head coach in place. So some of them have a tendency, and young students, they have a tendency to wander. But right now, he's done a great job of trying to bring those young men back into the program, and hopefully that'll happen.
Now, you have a long-standing tradition connection with Doherty High. You've seen the highs, you've seen the lows of the last few seasons. What will it take to get the Trojans back to competing for state championships? 2005 comes to mind, and earlier on in the 2000s.
Well, first thing, we got to have some continuity with the coaches. This is our third coach since 2005, and when you lose, that means that each of these coaches has been a 2 or 3 year stint. So having Coach Joyner in place, being a Doherty graduate, I think would definitely be an asset because of the fact he has some connections to the school and the community, and that will probably help. And the next thing going to help us is the student athletes dedicate themselves to working hard and getting the program back to the success that it once enjoyed.
Now, does the redistricting, are they stuck because of where they are, I guess, neighborhood-wise and zoning? Does that hurt them in any way?
Well, a couple of years ago, the whole east side used to be a Doherty zone. A couple of years ago, that was rezoned, and now that zone is split with Auburn High. So there are some issues with some of those students that will be going to Doherty. Athletes specifically are now being playing at Auburn High.
So moving from zoning to the reclassification, the reshuffling of all 4 of your high schools. Now they're all 4 playing in Quad A Region 1. Talk to me about the strengths, and was that what you hoped? Was that what you were working toward, to get all 4 of them in the same region?
Well, one thing that happened is Doherty has played up for the last 2 class years, and Auburn High was naturally a AA school. With the reclassification, one of the things that happened, Region 1, 3A, used to be all Southwest Georgia schools. With the reclass, the thing that happened more or less was our Region 1 trip now starts in Bachelor, Georgia. So the closest school to Albany schools is 127, 28 miles. The farthest in Savannah, about 240 miles. So this actually helps us out. The next thing that do it allows all of our schools, as we compete, to compete for one of those prestigious top 4 spots there. So that the competition level will increase. But having to travel, having our student athletes to travel and miss class time was a big factor there. The next thing, our fan base, our parents would not be able to travel that many miles. And with the Georgia High School Association 100-mile rule, all of their events would have to be on Friday or Saturday night. That's just not good for our student athletes, Doherty County School System athletics.
Can Albany, the coaches believe it, the players certainly believe it, can Albany compete? From what you've seen, can they compete jumping up 2 classifications?
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. I mean, they have competed with these schools. It used to be like this years ago. And they've competed with the local schools that was in Quad A over the last 6-8 years. So it's just a matter of getting the numbers up, and the coaches at Auburn High, does a great job there with all of the athletic programs, and they will be able to compete. I think they would. And this was not a decision made by me. This was a decision that the athletic director came to me and the head coach and say, this is going to be best for our program, and we think we can compete. So I know they believe that they can, and I believe that they can.
So now you're battling with players, but you're also battling with the heat. You have new wet bulb restrictions. You have GHSA putting all these different modifications on practice. My biggest question, and the question that's come from coaches as well, is if you have these restrictions in practice, why don't you have them in games?
Well, in the ball games, officials take over. So in a football game, if officials see that if it's a hot heat index, the official will make the determination to do water every 2 minutes or every 3 minutes. The next thing that you have in the count, you practice long and you play. So the next thing that you have is the fact, if you're looking at a football game, for example, if it's a 3 down and out for the defense, they're not on the field that long. If you're looking at a softball game and it's a 3-up, 3-down inning, they're not out there that long. So one of the things that happens is because of the breaks between plays and between innings, this will basically take care of itself with the officials. But with the practices, something had to be put in place, and I totally agree with the Georgia High School Association policy.
I need a football prediction from you. I know you're impartial to all of your teams, but if you had to pick one football team that you think could actually do some damage in the state playoffs and make a run this year, which team would it be and why?
Well, that's a tough question. One of the things I think going to determine that, and I've watched them in the passing league, is the number of experienced returners that they have coming on each side of the ball. Looking at that from listening at the coaches, the numbers right now, Monroe has probably the most, and Westover the second. Auburn High lost a lot of seniors last year. But the biggest thing going to be for all of the teams and what have you, and we're always competing. My goal is to try to make sure that we have our 4 teams in the playoff. That's the goal in every sport, not just football, basketball, and everything else. But one of the things I think will determine the success of our programs this year is that we can stay injury-free. We don't have a lot of numbers and what have you, so when the injury bug kicks in, no matter where you are, that's going to affect your outcome. So hopefully we can stay injury-free, and that I think all of us will do well, all schools will.
Certainly Albany, Monroe, Westover, contenders, and I think that contenders when we're looking deep into the states as well. Thank you, Coach Seabrooks, for joining me tonight. And coming up next, there were some football scrimmages tonight, but several local teams open the regular season next Friday. We'll present our Jeannie K. Tepper Game of the Week options coming up next. And welcome back. Well, with the South Georgia regular season kicking off, the slate of high school football games getting stronger next week. And here are your options for the Jeannie K. Tupper Game of the Week. Choices are split half GHSA and half GISA games. In Quitman next week, a great test for the Brooks County Trojans, hosting 2010 state champs Clinch County, while the two-time state champion Westwood Wildcats moving up to AA, opening their year with Piedmont. Now to vote in the game of the week, make your pick online at mysouthwestga.com/theblitz. Well, that's going to do it tonight for The Blitz. To get the high school football debate going even longer, hit me up on Twitter at @ASchnit, #TheBlitz, or on Facebook. And remember to tune in next Friday night where the hits get harder and the games count toward the season ledger. Have a great weekend, everyone.